Good evening. If you educate a girl, you educate a nation. So give your girls the wings to fly high. Spread the love on this International Day of the Girl Child. Welcome to BMC English News Live. Myself, Marina Francis, joining you with the news updates. Today's news in detail. Cultural extravaganza to celebrate 50 years of diplomatic relations between Bahrain and India. The Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities (BACA), in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Embassy of India and the Indian community, is organizing week-long celebrations from tomorrow to October 19th at the Little India in Bahrain at Babel, Bahrain. They are part of year-long Golden Jubilee celebrations on the establishment of diplomatic relations between India and the Kingdom of Bahrain. The diplomatic relations were established on 12th October 1971. The activities include cultural events by Indian and Bahraini artists, handicraft, cuisine, seminars and webinars. The introduction of the program was made at a press conference held yesterday at the National Museum. His Majesty the King looks forward to continue serious and fruitful work towards homeland of love, freedom and prosperity. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa expressed pleasure at inaugurating the Shura and Representatives Council's 5th legislative term 4th session yesterday. I look forward to a new phase of serious and fruitful work within the Blessed Renaissance March initiated by the Fathers towards the homeland of love, freedom and prosperity, said His Majesty as he delivered his virtual address to the Parliament at the Sakhir Palace in the presence of His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. Upon His Majesty the King's arrival at the Sakhir Palace, the music band played the national anthem. His Majesty the King's personal representative, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Khalifa, and Royal Court Minister Sheikh Khalid bin Ahmed Al Khalifa also attended the ceremony alongside His Majesty the King. Council of Representatives Speaker Fauzia bint Abdullah Zainal, Shura Council Chairman Ali bin Abdullah Saleh, Parliament Affairs Minister Ghanem bin Fadi Al Bunainin and the members of the bicameral parliament also attended the ceremony remotely. Following a recitation of some verses from the Holy Quran, His Majesty the King delivered his address to the Parliament. His Majesty stressed the regular constitutional continuity that aims at consolidating the Bahraini sober traditions characterizing the national experience. His Majesty the King expressed thanks to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister for his diligent and continuous efforts in handling the emergency health crisis, praising the role of Bahrain Task Force in this respect, which will be cherished by the nation forever. He cited in particular the medical teams who are working at the front lines and facing the pandemic with vaccination. IGA wins COVID-19 Innovation Award. The Information and E-Government Authority (IGA) was yesterday presented with the COVID-19 Innovation Award for its Be Aware Bahrain app. The award was presented by Works, Municipalities Affairs and Urban Planning Minister Essam Khalaf during the Bahrain Smart Cities Summit 2021. The Digital Transformation Award was presented to the Interior Ministry from the public sector and STC Bahrain. The Smart Cities Solutions in Real Estate was awarded to Diyar Al Muharrak and Smart Buildings was awarded to Eureka for Smart Properties. The Waste Management Award was presented to the Works, Municipalities Affairs and Urban Planning Ministry. Sustainable Energy Award was presented to Mohammed Salahuddin Consulting Engineering Bureau, and Smart Finance was awarded to Benefit Pay. The summit featured more than 20 speakers who reviewed global smart city transformation practices, the challenges facing countries in the transition to smart cities, and the best strategies to overcome them. Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika hails appointing Arab woman as UN Women Executive Director. Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, wife of His Majesty the King and President of the Supreme Council for Women (SCW), congratulated Dr. Seema Bahuz on her appointment as the UN Under-Secretary General and Executive Director of the UN Women. She wished her every success in assuming the responsibilities of the important international post. In a congratulatory cable sent on the occasion, Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika expressed pleasure at choosing an Arab woman to lead the international empowerment efforts. She described that as an indication of the high competence of the Arab women, which entitled them to contribute to decision-making and drawing women empowerment policies. Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika took pride in continuous partnership with the UN Women, pointing out joint initiatives including the launch of an International Women Empowerment Award for 2 consecutive sessions. 5-year health plan. Bahrain's cabinet has backed a 5-year plan to develop evaluation and accreditation procedures for hospitals and health centers. The cabinet, at its regular meeting chaired by His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, approved a memorandum from Health Minister Faika Al Saleh in this regard. The memorandum emphasizes the creation of an ongoing, open and constructive partnership between National Health Regulatory Authority (NHRA) and health institutions, which will lead to more competitiveness through the implementation of the best international practices in excellence in the sector. NHRA Chief Executive Dr. Mariam Al-Jalama said that the procedures will raise the quality and efficiency of health services in the kingdom. She said the plan includes setting a timetable for the next 5 years covering all health institutions. The accreditation will be for 4 years instead of 3, with an annual follow-up in line with international standards. A draft framework for cooperation on the exchange of financial sector cybersecurity information among GCC central banks was approved yesterday. This came as His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, yesterday chaired the weekly cabinet meeting at Gudaibiya Palace. The framework, drafted by the Ministerial Committee for Legal and Legislative Affairs, aims to support efforts to enhance cybersecurity and maintain the integrity of the GCC's financial and banking sector. Bank backs green drive on highway. A total of 810 trees will be planted along the 16th December highway by Clean Up Bahrain (CUB) with the support of the National Bank of Bahrain (NBB). The trees planted would help absorb around 8.5 tons of carbon dioxide within 5 years, help mitigate air pollution and improve temperature in the congested area. The bank announced yesterday it will provide finance for phases 2 and 3 of the Green Up project, which the local non-profit environmental organization is running in collaboration with the Southern Municipality. Women's Union to focus on key amendments to laws. Key laws aimed at further empowering Bahraini women across various sectors will be the focus of the newly elected Bahrain Women's Union Board of Directors during their upcoming 2-year term. Amendments to the 1963 Nationality Law, the 2017 Family Law, in addition to the labor law in the private sector, are among the top legislations to be discussed as part of efforts to impose positive change. Moving on to Bahrain's COVID updates. Yesterday, Bahrain recorded 57 new COVID cases and 78 recoveries. Of the new cases, 13 were expat workers, 26 contacts of local cases and 18 travel related. An additional 78 people recovered. Of the 592 active cases, 7 people are receiving treatment and 4 are in a critical condition. Bahrain One Racing clinches second place in Texas race. Bahrain One Racing team, owned by the personal representative of His Majesty the King, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Khalifa, has clinched the second place in the Texas NHRA Fall Nationals at Texas Motorplex as part of the E3 Sparkplugs NHRA Pro Mod Drag Race. The final race witnessed fierce competition between Bahrain One Racing team's driver Justin Bond and Lyle Barnett, who managed to win the race. Now we will be back after a very short break.
All your favorite products under one roof in Bahrain at 27-year-old Megamart and Macromart. Bakery, fresh meat and fish, fruits and vegetables, sweets and snacks, ready-to-eat foods, dairy products, grocery or consumer goods. To have a wonderful shopping experience, please visit your nearest Megamart Macromart branch. Megamart and Macromart, full of goodness.
Welcome back. Saudi Crown Prince launches National Investment Strategy. Saudi Crown Prince, Deputy Prime Minister and Chairman of the Council for Economic and Development Affairs, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz, announced today the launch of the National Investment Strategy (NIS), a key enabler to deliver on Vision 2030. The NIS is a catalyst to deliver the Kingdom's economic transformation plan Vision 2030, which was first outlined by His Royal Highness during its launch 5 years ago. His Royal Highness added that the Kingdom also seeks to harness its strengths, the strategic geographic position, investment power and place at the center of Arab and Islamic worlds. Makkah Grand Mosque resumes providing Zamzam water through more containers and tanks. The General Presidency for the Affairs of the two holy mosques has resumed providing Zamzam water through 155 marble tanks and 20,000 containers in the Grand Mosque. The provision of the water was suspended during the coronavirus pandemic. The decision to allow people to get the water was taken following the high number of vaccinations and the commitment of the worshippers to the precautionary health measures. The water dispensers and containers are placed in various places of the Grand Mosque to allow easy access to the worshippers. Saudi tightens COVID-19 rules, makes both vaccination doses mandatory in public areas. New rules requiring people in Saudi Arabia to have received 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccine before entering certain public places came into effect yesterday. Under the new regulations announced on October 1st, anyone wishing to enter government buildings, schools, events or use public transportation and air travel must have received both doses. Anyone wishing to perform the Umrah pilgrimage must also have received 2 vaccine doses. Unvaccinated people have been banned from entering government facilities, using public transport and attending events in the Kingdom since August 1st. The new rules specify that people must have received at least 2 vaccine doses before they are allowed to enter these areas. More than 43 million doses of coronavirus vaccine have been administered to people in Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom's health ministry said. Meanwhile, public transportation will be allowed only for immune people who have completed taking 2 doses of the prescribed vaccines, said the Saudi Transport General Authority (TGA). He made this announcement at the press conference held by the Health Ministry on Sunday, while adding that there are more than 750,000 daily users of transportation services in Saudi Arabia. These include transportation between cities, school buses, taxis, applications, transport services, trains and ferries. The spokesman added that the capacity of buses, ferries and economy class on trains is up to 50%. Expo 2020 Dubai reports over 400,000 visits since October 1st. Expo 2020 Dubai has reported 411,768 visits since the Arab world's biggest event to date launched 10 days ago. 1 in every 3 visits has come from abroad, the expo organizer said, and expects that this proportion would increase as international travel ramps up. The visitors belonged to 175 nationalities and not far off the 192 countries participating in the event, each with its own pavilion, the statement added. Economists David Card and Joshua Angrist and Guido Imbens won the 2021 Nobel Economics Prize on Monday for pioneering natural experiments to show real-world economic impacts in areas from the US fast food sector to migration from Castro-era Cuba. Unlike in medicine or other sciences, economists cannot conduct rigidly controlled clinical trials. Instead, natural experiments use real-life situations to study impacts on the world, an approach that has spread to other social sciences. Their research has substantially improved our ability to answer key casual questions, which has been of great benefit to society, says Peter Fredrickson, chair of the Economic Sciences Prize Committee. With that news, we come to the end of today's news updates. Stay tuned to BMC News Live for the daily news updates in English every day at 7:30 p.m. Good night.